Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a yin yoga sequence for the hips and the lower back, a little bit of the upper back as well. So hop on your mat and join me. For today you'll need 2 blocks if you have them, or something about this size, maybe some cushions about that size you can hold on to if you don't have blocks, and then a blanket. Okay, and we'll get started. So we'll start in dragonfly. So I recommend sitting up on a blanket or a bolster or a cushion. It just helps elevate the hips so you can access the pose a little bit easier. So you'll take your feet wide. So your feet are going to be in a straddle and just wide enough to where you feel a sensation happening on the inner thighs. If you don't feel anything, take your feet wider. If you feel too much, then bring them closer in. And then you can take a block or 2 out in front to rest your elbows down on in just a second. So sit up tall, and we'll start with eagle arms. So take the right arm on top of the left, hug yourself here. You can stay there or inch your fingertips toward each other on your back, or you can keep the elbows stacked and pull the hands up in front of you. Maybe hook them together, maybe your thumb and your pinky. And then you can keep the spine straight, or you can hinge forward while with the spine straight, or round the back if that's better for your back. And you can rest your elbows on your blocks or your forearms. You're tucking your chin to your chest. And just start to relax here. So you're relaxing the inner thighs, soften the kneecaps. Let your jaw relax. I'll take a few big breaths, breathing into the upper back, feeling the upper back expand and then contract and melt down with the exhale. And just a reminder, when we're practicing yin yoga, we want to come into a shape that we can hold for a long period of time. So you're not too deep into the posture as you normally possibly would be in a regular yoga class. And then once you find your shape where you feel a mild sensation on the targeted area, here we're targeting the inner thighs and the upper back, then you relax the muscles in those areas so that we can access the joints and the connective tissues. When the muscles are tense and contracted, activated, then it's hard to reach those joints and connective tissues. It's just easier when they're relaxed. So really focus on relaxing the muscles in the targeted area. Now, other points of your body may not be relaxed. So just focus on the areas that we're intending to target, which, again, like I said, the inner thighs and the upper back here. So relax there. Then you want to try to become still in the pose. So unless you are feeling pain, numbness, tingling, or you just feel like you're in too deep in the posture, or maybe your body's shaking, or maybe you're feeling a lot of anxiety, that could be a sign that you're in the posture a little bit too deep. So then you may want to move in that case to come out of the posture. Sometimes you lose sensation while you're in a posture, and so if that's the case, you may want to go a little deeper, and therefore you would move at that point. Otherwise, you want to try to remain relatively still for the duration of the posture. And I'm holding these postures 3 to 5 minutes, but you're always welcome to pick your own number. If that's too long for you, or you're just starting out, then you might want to pick a number that is a little bit less than that. So just listen to your body. Don't try to make your body look like mine or like someone else's. Just go by sensation and feeling. So we'll be here for about 10 more breaths. Go ahead and rise up. Unwind your arms, take them out wide and behind you, and then we'll switch the cross of our arms. So taking the left arm on top of the right this time, hug yourself or hug upward and grab your hands. Then you'll hinge at the hips, floating down gently or rounding the spine if it feels okay in your back, and tucking the chin to the chest. And then as you're holding there, I wanted to, for this class, work on creating more carbon dioxide in the body. And that may seem counterproductive, but carbon dioxide acts as a catalyst molecule to release oxygen from our hemoglobin. So if we want oxygen to get from our vascular system to our cells, we need to have enough carbon dioxide to function as key to unlock the oxygen from the blood. I'm getting this information from my teacher, Josh Summers, and he is getting it, I believe, from a medical journal resource. So there's some new research out there that's saying carbon dioxide isn't all that bad, and that we actually need it to help release that oxygen into our cells. So how do we get more carbon dioxide in our body? Well, there's a few different ways you can do it, so we're going to practice that tonight. So just basically, we'll start with a gentle inhale of your breath, and we're inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And by doing that, by breathing in and out the nose, you are creating the air moving in and out of the nose. It increases the tissue in the sinuses to produce more nitric oxide, which is a compound molecule that was discovered in the 90s, and it has a lot of benefits. So it's a vasodilator, so it relaxes the tension in the vascular system, and it reduces blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, this would be a good breath to try out. It also, nutrients and oxygen are more readily distributed. It also has an anti-inflammatory effect and signaling molecule in the immune system. We could all use that right now with everything going on. So you're going to inhale through the nose slowly. And it's not a full breath where you're going to explode with air. It's just enough to get you by. And then the exhale will be a little bit longer than the inhale. You can try holding the breath with empty lungs for a couple seconds if it's okay in your body. If you start to panic or feel anxiety, then I would just go right into the next breath. But make sure the inhale is slow and controlled. So inhaling slowly, not a full breath, just enough to get you by. Exhale fully. And maybe a hold at the bottom for a couple seconds. And then let's rise up and unwind our arms, take them out wide and behind us. And you can sit back on your hands and take your feet out in front, windshield wiper your knees side to side. Now we held that posture a little bit longer, but you're always welcome to come out of the pose if you need to. Just listen to your body. That's the main key in this practice. So we'll try that nasal breathing in every posture that we do, and then we'll try another type of breath after a few other postures. Okay, so once you feel like your hips have kind of settled down a little, we're going to go right back into them. So here we're coming into square pose. So you can take your right foot on top of the left knee, and then you stack your left foot underneath the right knee. Now, if this is not working out for you today and that is not accessible, that's okay. You can take the bottom leg straight out. It will give you more of a back of the leg stretch on the left. Or what you can do is cross the shins. Try to keep them kind of centered there. And that might be enough for you to feel in the outer hips. So here we're targeting, and then you'll take your blocks out in front, same thing. You can rest your elbows on there, or you can just fold forward and rest your head on there. So we'll start. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward. So if you want to place your elbows on your blocks, I like to put my elbows there and hold my head, my face, or maybe kind of rub my temples a little bit. Or if you'd like to continue with that eagle arms, you're welcome to do that as well. Or you can just rest your arms down and rest your head down on the blocks. If your head is on a block, you can try gently moving the block, your head side to side, massaging your forehead, and we'll take some of those slow breaths here. So inhaling slowly through the nose, not a full breath, just enough to get you by. Exhale fully out the nose. Hold with empty lungs. And then the next breath in is a slow, controlled inhale. So sometimes if you talk a lot for your job, like maybe you're a teacher or maybe you're in communications or sales, or you just talk a lot of times we take in too much oxygen. We don't have enough carbon dioxide. So this breath can help create more of that and create more of a balance in the body. So just keeping your exhale, your empty lungs for just a couple more seconds before you inhale the next breath can help create more of that in the body. And as you're focusing on that breath, if it gets too much, you feel anxiety or anything, you can obviously stop and just breathe naturally and come back to it when you're ready. And if this bothers your back at all, you can keep your spine straight and just hinge at the hips. That's where elbows on blocks could help out with that. So we're looking for a sensation in that outer right hip. You may feel a sensation in both hips. And we're slowly going to come up. You can unwind your feet. Take your feet wide and then windshield wiper your knees side to side. And then we'll switch up the cross of our legs. So this time you'll take your left foot on top of your right knee and fold forward when you're ready. That's the one we did last time. Okay, so this time you'll take your right foot on top of your left knee. Just kidding. And you'll fold forward when you're ready. Now we're looking for a sensation in that left outer hip or possibly both hips. Take a couple of those carbon dioxide breaths where you're holding the breath for a few seconds at the bottom of the exhale. And as you're focusing on that breathing, try to settle in and become aware of any sounds you may be hearing. Maybe on this video, maybe my voice, maybe they're loud sounds surrounding you, maybe they're soft sounds, maybe they're distant sounds, maybe birds chirping, music playing, kids in the background. Whatever it may be, just bring your awareness to those sounds. And slowly rise up. Take your hands behind you, take your feet out in front wide, and windshield wiper your knees slowly side to side. Then you can come off of your block or your blanket and come down to your back. You can push your blocks and props to the side. Lie down in just a resonance, relaxation pose just for a moment. Allowing your spine to adjust, and the energy that you conjured up in your hips to start to dissipate. Switch over to a different type of breath where we add a hum on the exhale. This isn't a new type of breath, it's been around for a while, but try incorporating it into your yin practice and see how it makes you feel. The vibrations from the hum can cause changes, for the positive changes possibly in the body. It may make you feel good. It may calm the nervous system. So if you're ever having anxiety or stress, you can try this humming breath and it will help calm you down. So just same natural, slow inhale. And on the exhale, you just hum. And then after that long hum, you're just going to breathe naturally for a couple rounds of breath. And then on the next exhale, you'll hum again. And we'll do that about 3 or 4 times. So here we go. And breathe naturally. Now, if you're in a loud place or there's sounds that are bothering you, you can also do this with closing the ears. And you can really tune into your personal hum, your vibrations that you're creating in your body. Also, focus on filling the belly up with air, breathing into the lower lungs. Try not to let the rib cage expand at all. Try just breathing into the belly and hugging the belly in. It takes a lot of practice, so if it's hard to do at first, it's okay. It takes time and practice to get there. It sometimes helps if you put your hand on your belly as well, so you can try that. So we'll try another hum breath when you're ready. All right, bend the knees and give the knees a hug into the chest. You can rock side to side, massaging your lower back. And then holding onto your knees, we'll rock up to hands and knees, tabletop. So here's where you might want your blocks and your blanket. So put your blocks at the top of the mat. Blanket is for padding for the back knee. We're coming into Fragan, half frog, half dragon. So we'll start with the right foot forward. You can step the right foot forward and pad that left knee. And you're sending the hips forward and down to your first edge of resistance, right where your body wants to stop, then you relax. I'm watching the timer here, make sure that we're on time. So relax your hips, the muscles around the hips. And then we're going to come into Fragan. So you're going to take your blocks to the inside of that right foot, maybe off the mat. You might want to lower them a level. And then you're going to pivot onto the inside edge of that back knee, and the inside edge of that back foot is reaching for the ground. It may touch, it may not. The front knee is still in dragon, so it's still kind of basically facing forward. And you're now hopefully getting a different sensation in that left inner hip or the hip joint. You're welcome to stay on your hands, or you can make fists and put the knuckles down if that bothers your wrists. You can drop down to your elbows. Either way, just try to relax here. You can relax the head. You could even massage your temples with your thumbs. Just getting into the internal rotation of the hip here, as well as working on the inner thigh on the right. Try to become nice and still. If you need less sensation, you just can come up to your hands or raise the blocks or kind of back off a little bit of that front knee. Just listen to your body. Keep telling yourself to relax the muscles around the inner thighs and the hip joints. You can bring your awareness back to your breath. You can try one of those humming breaths here, or a couple rounds of them. And you'll slowly come back up, come back to center, and we'll take a little half splits here. So send the hips back toward the back heel, straighten the front leg, pull the right toes up, and fold over that right leg. You can keep the leg as straight as you can. Your back can be as straight as you want it to be, or you can round over it. It's just a little counter stretch here. Take a deep breath and hum on the exhale. And then we'll slowly come out and we'll switch to the other side. So step the left foot forward and I'll turn around this way. You can just stay where you are. And we'll come into dragon on the other side. We'll come to dragon on the other side. And then we'll take the blocks to the inside of that left foot and walk them out off the mat to the right. Pivot onto the inside edge of that right knee and the inside edge of that right foot. Again, you can stay on your hands or drop to your elbows, whatever feels good for you. Looking for that sensation on the inner right hip and the inner left thigh. Take a couple humming exhales and then become aware of these sounds around you again. And just let the mind become spacious, like the big sky or an empty space. Sounds are appearing and disappearing in this open space of the mind. Keep telling yourself to relax the muscles in around the hips. You can slowly come back up, walk your blocks back to center, take your time, and then straighten that left leg, coming into that half splits, pulling the hips back, pulling the left toes up as you fold forward. You can hinge at the hips, keeping this back nice and straight, or you can round the back and tuck the chin. You could try that humming breath in any posture that you like. Slowly come forward, and then we'll sink back into child's pose. If you wanted to move your blanket out of the way, you can. And then sink the hips back and stretch the hands forward as you rest the head down to the mat or to a block. Keep the knees wide here just for today's practice, as we're trying to get into the inner thighs and the meridians that run along those inner thighs. And just bring your awareness back to the sounds you hear, back to the open space of the mind. Start to notice any thoughts that are appearing and disappearing like clouds in the sky. Maybe images appearing in the mind and dissolving away. And slowly come up. And you'll have two options here. You can come into Sphinx pose or saddle. So if you want to take Sphinx, you can come down to your belly. If this hurts your hip bones at all, you can place a blanket underneath your hips, and it really helps. You can take your feet apart any amount, elbows somewhat underneath your shoulders, maybe a little bit further out if that's too much of a back bend for you. We are targeting the lower back, so try to relax the glutes, the hamstrings, the back body, and if you are in Sphinx, you're kind of pulling the chest open, pulling your shoulders together on your back. So the upper body is engaged, lower body is relaxed. Okay? And if you want, you could even take some head circles here, or just keeping one ear to one shoulder for a while, maybe resting the forehead down to a block. If you'd rather take saddle, you can use as many props for this as you need, but it's basically sitting up on your heels. Your heels may be underneath you, they might be to the side of your hips, whatever you like. Your knees can be together or apart, any amount. And I would start off with hands on blocks behind you. And once you feel comfortable there, allowing the quads to calm down, and once they start to feel a little loose, then you can possibly, if it feels okay in your back, maybe drop down to your elbows. I'm not quite there, so I'll hang out here on my hands. Some people like to go all the way down to their back. Just take your time doing that. This is a practice of slowing down, not rushing through. So allow your body to adjust with each movement that you make. Sometimes this is too much, just sitting like this for people. So you're welcome to take Sphinx like I just demonstrated. Also, you could possibly even just sit up on the tops of the feet like this, and this might be enough sensation in your quads and your ankles. Now, some people have like severe ankle pain in this posture, and it really helps if you place a blanket rolled up on top of the foot or on the top of the ankle. So you can place that down and then place your feet or your ankles on top of that. And then you can take the knees apart or together, and that should alleviate that pain. If this causes any knee pain, you do not want to do this posture. Don't do anything that causes knee pain. We don't need that. So if this does hurt your knees, you can take Sphinx. You could also try Sphinx with a quad stretch where you reach back and grab the back foot. You can use a strap even around the ankle for that, if that feels okay in your body. So once you figure out your shape, you relax the muscles in the lower back, because that's what we're targeting here, and the quads if you're in saddle. You can keep the chin tucked to the chest or let the head hang back if your neck is okay with that. And just try to relax. You want to take slow head circles or one ear to one shoulder. Kind of stretch out the neck here as well. You're welcome to do that, or you can just be nice and still. You come back to that open, spacious mind. Noticing all the sounds, noticing the sounds of silence. And become aware of different sensations in the body, different thoughts, images like stars in the sky. Almost as if there's no inside, there's no outside. No borders, just simple sounds and sensations and thoughts and images arising and passing away. Sometimes knee pain arises during the posture. You can try lifting the hips, just elevating the hips any amount with a block or two or a bolster. And sometimes when you create more space behind the knees, then that pain disappears. If it continues, you just need to come out of the posture and head into a different one that works for your body. And you'll slowly come up. Maybe roll to one side first. If you're on your belly in Sphinx, just come down to your belly in a prone Shavasana position, which is what we're going to do right now as well. Just rest your forehead on the back of your hands. And notice all that energy dissolving away. You can try a humming breath here. And then from here, we'll press up and sit down on our bottom with our feet out in front. Then you can fold forward with a little bit more ease. So when you're ready, we're going to take caterpillar. If you want to use your blocks to rest your head on, you can. You can place them in between your legs or on your legs. Your feet can be together or apart any amount. And then when you're ready, sit up tall, walk your hands forward. Keep your spine straight. If it bothers your back to bend it. If it doesn't, you can round forward, resting your forehead down onto the blocks. Maybe your hands touch and grab your toes, maybe not. You can also use a strap here around the balls of your feet, but not to pull you deeper, just something to hold on to. And really focus on relaxing in the kneecaps, the thighs, so you can fully get into this posture, relax the belly, and try to become nice and still in the pose. Coming back to that open sky mind. Becoming aware of your surroundings, the sounds, sensations, images, thoughts. Just flowing through you. Almost as if your body does not exist. And slowly rise up. Straighten out your spine. Inhale. Exhale. Remove the blocks. And then you'll come down to your back. Give your knees a hug into your chest. Rock side to side. And keep hugging in that right knee as you straighten the left leg down the mat. And you'll take that right knee across the body over toward the left side of your mat. And this is just a gentle twist, so no, you don't need to push down super hard or anything, but see if you can feel a nice outer hip stretch on the right, maybe pulling that right hip back toward the mat slightly. Your right arm can go out to the side and maybe look to the right or to the left. And you'll bring your right arm back over toward your right knee, hug your right knee back in, rolling to your back. Then you'll switch to the other side. Left leg hugs in, right leg straightens out. And you can pull that left knee across your body over to the right. Gentle twist here. You can open the left arm out to the side and look to the left. Bring that left arm back over toward your left knee. Hug it into your chest, rolling back to your back. Give both knees a hug. Curl up into a tight, tight ball, squeezing your toes. Make fists, squeeze your face, squeeze your knees. Tight, 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 tight. Then relax down for final resting pose, Shavasana. And take 3 humming breaths. And allow your breathing to be soft and gentle. Bring awareness back to your breath. Feel free to lay here a little bit longer. Take as much rest time as you need. If you're ready to end with me, wiggle your fingers and toes. You can bend your knees, roll to one side of your body. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. And you'll press up to a seated position and bring the hands together at heart center. Bow your chin to your chest. Take another deep breath in. Open mouth, sigh it out. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you feel amazing. Hope your hips feel great. Hope you feel energized. The light in me honors the light in you. Have a beautiful rest of your day or night. Namaste.